So I'm going to show you how to do the wet into wet technique. So I'm dipping the tip of my brush in water, and I'm taking some of this lemon yellow gouache and I'm putting it in my other palette mixture, but see how it's still thick? So then we want to add more water to it to thin it out, but still that's a little too thick, but we want to keep our saturated color, so we thin it out. Okay, now that's my dirty jar of water, and now I'm going to take a little bit of the green. Now it's too green, so then we go back in here into the yellow. And I'm going to need to put out more yellow. I'm just going to put it in this one. Okay, so clean off my brush. Take a little bit of that. Mix that yellow. So I have that greenish yellow now. And then now what I'm going to do is just take a bit of this brilliant orange. And I might also need more yellow. Ooh, that was too much. It squeezed out really fast. So here, just take a tiny bit and then mix it in there. Okay. Now it's a little too warm, but we're on our way. So put it in there. Add a little bit more of this cadmium lemon yellow. My brush is dirty, so try and thoroughly clean it. Take dip. But see, this is still too thick, so we need to thin it out with more water because we want it to be pretty thinned out. Okay, now it's a good color. Okay, let's thin it out more. It's still a saturated color, but I want it to be thinned out. Sorry, there we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is there's my bowl. This is going to be a little difficult, but I want to draw. So there I start with a line, so I put the wet media down. There I'm doing planar, right? I'm looking, I glance over at the shape. So see how I'm holding my brush back? Okay, there's part of it. Okay, so now I want to get, sorry, I'm going to pick up and I'm going to go into the other one. I want to try and get it drawn in quickly too, and while it's still wet. I don't like those marks there. Okay, and now what I want to do is I want to drop some warmer colors into there. So let's see. Let's get a thinner brush. This will do. I'll use this smaller one. I need to change out my water, but right now I don't have time because we have to work quickly while it's wet. So I'm going to take some of that green and some of that brilliant orange, and I'm going to put it in there. But then I need to thin it out. See, this is too thick. Okay, and then So this area is still wet, and so now what I'm going to do with this little round is I'm going to drop it in. Onto there. Also in there. I might go back over that because I don't like how that looks exactly. And then okay, and so then I want to make that pink bowl color. So that's one way to do wet into wet. See that the yellow area was wet, and then I went in with another wet color. So this is another way to do wet into wet. So you want to make sure you're, well, I want to take this pink color, but it's a little thick, you see. Yeah. Let's take some of that yellow and mix that in. That's nice. I want to thin it out. You want to make sure when you're doing wet into wet, or you're using gouache like watercolor, that you thin out the body so then it becomes semi-opaque. I want to go back in and finagle that, but I'm trying to show you how I'm holding the brush and how I'm thinning out the gouache. Okay, so I need to show you the other way. So the water is unfortunately dirty, and I don't. So if you had, let's imagine you had clean water, and you laid down. Oh no, it's dripping. You had clean water and you laid it down, right? This technique is better to use on a flat surface, but I don't have anything to hold my still life. So if you had wet your paper and then you dropped in another color, that's how you would also do the wet into wet technique. I'd like to finish this. I want to work on some gouache paintings that are like this. All right.